Dumela, good day. We're gonna do a reaction here quickly. We're gonna do a reaction of a video. Yeah, the collapse of Ghana Gang Drape. Yeah, the collapse of Drape here. Really. Tabatangona rebaka qala ka Madam Speaker. Lamsa Madam Speaker. Hey, anyway, let's listen to Lekau's wife, ex-wife.
Okay.
On when she visited Madam Speaker, when Madam Speaker gave her the platform to
give her side of the story.
To give her side of the story, right? Yeah. I think also we'll combine it with when he visited this guy Manyatela, Ko 702, Lekau, yeah, and then sort of combine the stories. But our interest is not really about their marriage. No, our interest is find out, man. The way man dripila hulaga team man, hey man, something is not make sure there. Do you know what I'm saying? There's no jealous whatever the case might be. Something is not make sure. Having been involved in businesses ourselves, we know certain dynamics. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we know certain dynamics, and man, something's not make sure, man.
One of the biggest takeaways from this will have to be how anyone who's ever built any kind of business.
Yes.
This story, sitting as a bystander watching it, didn't make sense.
Yeah, from the word go.
And this will be an analysis?
An analysis, yeah. It's an opinion, by the way. So let's listen to Lekau's ex-wife, ne? From a channel here, Madam Speaker. And then let's see. I will go to you.
But we'll be jumping, obviously.
Yeah, we'll be jumping. Let's hear.
Welcome to my channel. My name is Phonzi, also known as Madam Speaker, also known as the CEO of Self-Love. If you're joining for the first time,
the CEO of Self-Love.
Self-Love and motivation. And if you're returning, thank you so much for
Madam
the
Speaker
support that you are showing me. You are on the Safe Space Chess podcast. This episode is not your usual episode. Actually, the intro is even being done at the end. Then we have to just put it in the front before we can actually start with the whole episode. But yeah, please do watch and enjoy. And yeah, let's take it away. My name is Lebohang. Sehoana. I'm a mother. By profession, I'm a business analyst, and I'm also a jurist. I'm from Park, and I furthered my studies. I got a master's in applied sciences. During my final year, my mother passed away. So I'm the first child at home. I have two siblings. After she passed away, I had to take care of my siblings and also put myself through tuition. And luckily, by the grace of God, I managed to get employment. And being a business-minded person, I bought property. I bought my first property while I was still staying at home. And then I built cottages to rent out. So life went by and I continued. Then I got married eventually. I got married to someone I went to school with. I got married in 2018. I started dating this guy in 2016. It was 8 years later after knowing him.
So they got married 2018. Which means 8 years later, right? So which means they met 2000. Because they said, am I correct? No. 2010. They met 2010. Because they got married 8 years later.
Okay.
That's what she's saying.
Okay.
So I'm just doing the maths in here.
Right.
According to
what she said.
Yeah, according to what she said. So they met in 2010 and they got married in 2018. Because she says they got married in 2018.
But they started dating in 2016.
In 2016. Yeah, but they met in 2010.
100%.
Sharp.
We were in a relationship. He was unemployed. So him being unemployed and I was employed, and being a business person, we started doing businesses. So there are we ventured into multiple businesses, and as time went by, we got married, I got pregnant, we got a baby, and so...
Can you press pause? I'm sorry, but I have to say this. Your man is unemployed.
Yeah.
You're trying to start a business, and then while she's the sole breadwinner,
yeah,
then you go on and still have a child. Wabana, this is just should be. I just want to highlight planning, the importance of planning. It doesn't mean that no, you have to have children as soon as possible. If you've got things that you want to do for yourselves, ipeng nako. Because already this is just standing as
No, I do not know, but how Kauka, the way she tells the story of having a child, I think probably she was already pregnant.
Oh, ngabanyala.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Okay.
That's an impression that I'm getting.
Okay. Because I'm saying, I mean,
Because we got married, I got pregnant. You see, immediately she talks about.
Okay.
So it gives me a sort of impression that maybe they found out that she's pregnant, and then we need to do the right thing.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And then obviously then they got married. That's an impression that she gives me.
Okay.
In terms of how she narrates the story. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think that being that's fine. So that's
okay.
yeah. So already uno solidwa.
What happened is that while I was married and during our marriage, that my then husband was not working. He was unemployed, as I've said. So I was the one who was funding the businesses. So we did multiple businesses. We were selling eggs, we were selling chickens, we did a shisanyama. And
you know what's funny?
So I'll go to work, come.
We were selling eggs, we were selling chicken. I'm listening to the language of the ex-wife. When you listen to Sehoana's story, Sehoana, how do they spell? Yeah. Yeah, anyway. So when you listen to this guy's story, he always say, he always refers in the pronoun or in the noun. Pronoun. Is it a pronoun? Yeah.
I understand what you mean.
I. It's just something. It was we. The X or the we. Could it something? I feel like
take note.
Yeah, take note or a normal. Hey man, you know. Yeah. Okay.
And then eventually we ventured into a sneaker brand. And as time went by, the guy was not working. So now I am a breadwinner. I'm a breadwinner at my mom's place. I'm a mother to my siblings. I'm also a mother to my child. And I'm a breadwinner in our household as a newly wed couple. And now I had financial strain to a point where we had to move into my mom's house. So I moved in with my husband into my mom's house, and that's when we started the sneaker brand. And as we went by, I got married to my husband, the then husband, and I only knew that his mother was staying in Limpopo. So a year later, I found out that actually his mother was not staying in Limpopo. She was staying around Ivory Park, where I grew, but in a squatter camp not far from the relatives that we normally go to. And when I figured and discovered...
So you got married to someone whose family you don't even know. So who was present at the wedding?
There are just too many questions on this thing. You understand what I'm saying?
That's my first question, huh?
Yeah, I mean, how I check it? I knew me on a couple. Come on, let me check it on Lebo. On a local Limpopo, I don't know.
But how do you?
There are just too many things, man. Ne?
The family, go alone. You knew his mother lived go
Limpopo.
Yeah, but she's actually staying go Ivory Park, and close to where they grew up. I don't know.
It's just yeah. They're just.
And this couple, maybe they dated. They were only dating for 2 years.
They've known each other. I get it.
So they're dating, man, and then it's not as serious maybe for the guy, and then get about pregnant here, and then you about and it's push. And remember, he's unemployed all this time. So for
I think that's what I'm saying. That I think that the thing that pushed this man is that the woman found out she's pregnant, and then she said, "No, I can't be a woman who's pregnant, and then I'm not married."
Yeah.
That is the feeling that I'm getting from the story.
We haven't watched this. But
Okay.
I presume I'm gonna put a case. She probably paid for the wedding.
Yeah, it's possible. No, she did.
Oh,
she did. There is no other way.
Yeah. Okay.
No. She did.
It's a mess.
The situation that the mother was in. I had a conversation with his son to say, I think we should move your mom out of the squatter camp. She should go stay in one of my properties. So before getting married, I bought property and then I built apartments and cottages.
We
So
come with a palm.
No, the baby was already there.
And we asked Ma to move.
No,
into
and
the
before
house.
they got married,
So
she already
Ma
had the
moved
two
into the
houses,
house
the two
together
properties.
with my daughter.
So Nantu Ikichwankuri, we come with a
His,
palm.
sister too.
She took on dead weight. That's what she did. He's unemployed.
Yeah.
Ne. He's been unemployed.
Mm.
She's funding the business. He's lied about his mother, his background. I think
Okay.
your
Ka
own,
ke tlo buella Mtakonano.
your own mother, your own mother, could you allow your own mother to live in squalor? And then hide that fact. I'm not saying that she should have taken on the burden, but for the mere fact that this is all coming out after they've been married. What's again? My mother's struggling, and it's not even him coming out with it. I think I want the living circumstance. The husband. We have to intervene.
Yeah.
So suggest, let's move your mother to one of my cottages.
Yes.
So now my point that I'm making is that this lady and she seemed to be on the upward. She was doing well for herself.
That's true.
I understand her. And then she took on dead weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just say that she might have taken a dead weight one from a perspective here or no. The guy doesn't work, whatever the case might be. But then another thing I think as well, I get other dynamics within the relationship or what's your plan, things like that. So the guy had a vision of where he's going. That's what I would like.
Potential.
Potential, yes, there's potential where he's going, and which I think it's an important aspect. You know what I'm saying, in terms of when you choosing somebody to be with, especially if you are a woman, because the fact of the matter is that any woman who wants to get married now or who wants to establish a family, most guys that you're going to date, probably salaries that are lower than you in terms of what you're earning.
As a result of corporate and the way
and the way the economy is and the way systems are, the way the structural, the
way it's set,
environment,
the way it's set,
the way it's set. Because most
black women are highly valued.
So now, hence I'm saying that, okay, so that was the situation with them.
And she believed in his potential.
Which of course ultimately proved itself, as things are, but unfortunately, situation of the collapse. So now we are then trying to find out actually what happened. But Kashe, the issue of marriage, now I'm thinking, or as you say, she paid for it.
So I work a woman getting with a man because of potential, and I'm fully for that.
Yes.
But a man has to be able to demonstrate potential when you meet him.
Yeah.
You understand? There's nothing about that I've heard that she said to this point that shows that this guy was busy with anything. He was a dreamer. And then motonaling ideas. You understand? But
I can remember there is another one here, Manyatela, where we saw I was pushing CVs, Nenzeki apply and things like that. And then getting turned down. So there was something that he was doing.
Yep.
On another video, which we will do the reaction at the.
But she's never mentioned Akila said it. She went to school. She's working when they were.
So the guy, anyway.
My then husband. So when Ma moved in, she stayed there, and then we did the business. And fortunately, this time, this business was a success. And me being at work, and the husband being on the floor, he was the face of the business, and I was the backbone of the business. So I would go at work, come back, and do the your e-commerce, take orders, and as a system and a business analyst, I had the luxury to work from home. So at times we'd go do deliveries, I'd go deliver with him. So it's not only the sneakers, we're doing deliveries from chickens. I would have my laptop on the side, have my child at the back, and go deliver your chickens. We're delivering chickens, we're delivering eggs, and so forth. So when time went by, the business was now growing. As the business was growing, my private car, which we used to use to deliver However, it was not sufficient. We had to buy a business car. But now the husband had not been working for 2 years and he didn't have a good credit. And the business was less than 6 months. So he couldn't afford to buy a business car. So I had to go and buy a business car on my name. So I bought the first business car that we bought for the brand. It was under my name. It's still under my name, and it's still being used at the company. So I've been the resources. I've been resourceful from the get-go. From the start of the business, I've been there financially, and also working as well. I would go and do deliver sneakers. As the brand grew, we bought the car and we used the car. But now, as the brand grew, that's when the downfall in our marriage came.
Okay, can you please
now
So the woman became a helper because the wife is a helper of her husband. You understand? Yeah, where there's a lack, the woman truly became a helper. According to what she says, you know what I'm saying? And you wanted to say something.
So I just want to ask questions to what she just said, which for now already are, I need more clarity on this.
Okay.
So the first thing is that actually they've moved back to the mother's house because financially she's taking financial strain. She's a sole breadwinner, and then she's also at the same time the funder of this business. I think what would help is an understanding of how much, when you say you funded this business, because you're dabbling in a lot of things. It's chicken, it's a shishanyama, the business as the brand is growing. What brand is growing? You understand? Because now by the sounds of it, you're selling chickens, it's a shisanyama.
We're trying to leave.
But now, no worries today. But how much money is invested in a brand? In the brand group? Because I'll tell you why I asked you this. Where did you get? Okay, so that's why I say to understand how much you invested will help us then understand how much money was contributed or invested in Drop the business, right? Why do I ask? You've got to design the sneaker. Once you get the sneaker designed, you need to find a manufacturer for the sneaker. Once you find a manufacturer for the sneaker, you now need to make a minimum order of production. They don't make 10 sneakers as a sample, but about 40 keys, and then you come back and order 20. Most manufacturing production lines have got minimum order requirements for them to adjust their workshop or their manufacturing facility to be able to give out the product that you want.
I think her perspective of investment is that I provided a much of a working capital. Antoine? Okay. We needed a car, so I took a car under my name because my husband was not working. We needed this, so it is those small amounts of monies or whatever, in piece bits that were,
working capital, sure.
So working capital.
Right.
So that's how she, that's an investment.
But now,
you know what I'm saying? So because remember, mtaguna aspa. So Chelsea Kukaga, who has it?
But now my question.
And then also she has properties. So that income as well.
It's finding the working requirements.
Yeah. Of the business, yes.
Let's go back and then I say work a working capital. Then you've got initial startup capital. So that would be getting your stock. The sneakers that you're going to be selling, they're not collecting orders and then calling a manufacturer to manufacture and then they deliver. You're supposed to have stock on hand. These are sneakers.
I remember they were not only doing that, they were also doing Barik Samai. And other things.
Remember, the root of this entire thing is that the clothing aspect of this business ends up being the one that blows up.
Yes.
To be a multi-million rand business. Or so it's alleged.
So it's alleged, yes.
So to be able to build a business like that, what was the investment in that business? Because yes, I get her in faith, she can go and go do eggs and go do whatever, no issues, right? But these are small businesses. Selling, you can sell eggs every day and then. But then, how much was invested in the sneaker business? Because we go back and say the initial investment. Kanapo, you stated that. I'm not saying she never invested anywhere.
No, I understand.
But now there's a bigger amount, there's a bigger picture that has to be considered for the sneaker line. Like I say, the manufacturing of the sneakers.
Yes, and no taller. So now, then it speaks to the question here,
and he's unemployed.
Lekau, Lekau.
Lekau.
Lekau, we talk about this business at Flip Cup guy,
4,600.
From the beginning of this whole thing.
Because how many sneakers did you get worth 4,600?
Or whatever. How was this chopped up? How we can there are just so many things that don't make sense about this. this whole thing. Or okay, this business. Why? And here's the thing. Why? But what's our need, man? From and there's nothing wrong. I mean, many companies. I mean, when you hear a lot of these companies, for an example, or no, you know, we F&B, you know, or venture capital or whatever the case might be.
There's a saying, the devil is in the details.
Yeah.
Understand that? Because the moment you start to peel back, that's when you realize, okay, this is actually a scam.
Yeah.
This was never a business which was built handle. You know how many people, I can tell you, I can name the brands just off. There's Swank, there's Dope Store, there's Thesis. There are small boutique firms owned by black upcoming designers. Not even upcoming designers, people who've been in the game 15, 20 years plus. They are nowhere near the so-called success yet. Understand? So it's unnatural, it's inorganic into it. This is a business that was formed.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
In 5 years. So that's why I get you. The devil is in the details because they're not disclosing. That's why I ask. Okay, the wife says that she invested money. Okay, you invested money. How much did you invest? Give us an idea of how much you put down. And then so that you can have a better understanding.
I think it's
so
a
we
fair
can have
question.
a better understanding, Yauri, how much went into the strip business. Because already, by the looks of it, it's a money laundering scheme.
Yeah. By the looks of it, anybody who knows whatever.
Funding institutions.
Yeah.
And they were and drip, and I'll even put it on the record and say, I hold the very same suspicions since it came out. These are companies, these are front companies used to loan the money which has been gotten from a financial institution, maybe the IDC.
It's possible. Anyway, let's allegedly. This is all allegedly.
Popularity, I would say. He gained popularity, and now he had a new circle, and exposed to new, I could say, environment that affected our home, because we'd come home late and I would say, could you tell me next time when you come home that you'll be late, you're attending a conference or whatever it might be, because I'm sitting at home, I might be worried that maybe you got yourself involved in a car accident. Just communicate. And then in the beginning there was that, and then unfortunately it got worse, because now he would come home toxinated. Now he would come home doing things that I am not used to, like participating in rituals that we are not used to, And when I would talk about the rituals, to say, why are you doing such things,
No, nasa kopane batho ba.
Yeah,
O batla money, wait what you.
Yeah, 100%. And then you be the front.
Yeah, because
put you in this position,
every time when there is a change in behavior, unali influence somewhere. Because I also and everything like so only too ambitious, mthago. Ne?
And then
he did not allow the business to grow organically.
Even if they try to grow it organically, here's my point. Had they pushed this business, the eggs, the shisanyama are more likely to have been successful. Not the other part. So now this part of business, this shoe business.
Why do you think Yenanaya trip would not have been?
No, because this is the cash cow. How are you going to justify getting, I don't know, R1 billion? Because they also share, but this is something that's gone on for more than 5 years. How much money was just pumped into those 14 stores? So there was a huge amount of money to justify the clothing business, the shoe business.
Yeah.
Was the vehicle that was used to support getting that amount of money.
Yes,
However, it is located at the funding institution. You understand that? And it was the most logical. We're manufacturing, local manufacturing. I mean, these guys, there was a video that I saw, they've got trucks, they've got warehouses, they've got all these
where
things.
did they get that capital? From which
Exactly. So that's money that used to keep up the front, and then there was more money behind the scenes, which was shared between them and whoever else is involved in this operation. That's why
something is not make sure.
100%. So if anything, I can agree he met other people who he shared his business idea with
Babona is a viability.
And then they realized that, you know what, let's work with you, let's get this paperwork together. We know someone at the funding institution, and we can get money through this.
Yeah, okay.
Being at home at 3 a.m. and slaughtering cows and stuff like that, slaughtering chickens and stuff like that, it was something that I was not used to, and I would be shocked. And when I spoke about it, that's
man
when
was selling his soul.
It just escalated. Now it was no longer about coming home late. It was just a lot of things. And at the time, I remember the sneaker had bad review, and they were saying the sneaker is not of good quality, and people were just bashing it. So every time he would have, because he was the face of the business, he's the face of the business. Every time there would be a lash out on the social media or the troll, they'll come directly to him, and he'll take out his frustrations on me. So it got to a point that the abuse was a lot, and we have a small.
Do you remember the brand Stay Fresh, Head Honcho, Struce Bob?
Yes, Struce Bob.
They had a associate. Those were big brands, big local brands by local guys who built their businesses up from the ground. Understand? And these things went on for years. I'd never heard of drip before. It's a shire everywhere. So what social media?
And also drip you know?
Yeah,
around the same time.
Same MO, same blueprint. Same MO.
When I look at it now, it was
the same institution, it's the same playbook. They dropped the same year. They dropped either within a year between each other.
Yeah.
Lena, the same, the Togo Wabatu speaks exactly the same story. His story is that he built his business from Habo, Bekungo, Alex to what it is today in 5 years.
And it got to a point where I said, you know what, this is not it. I think our child is getting exposed to this. Phones are being broken every week, buying new TVs every week. It's best if we separate. And then he was saying he's going through a lot of pressure from social media, and he's going through a lot of childhood trauma now because he's exposed to a lot of things right now, things that he couldn't afford previously and stuff, and people and stuff. So he'd come home very intoxicated and just abuse me to a point where it would be physical. So when we spoke about this, we're like, maybe you need to move out and go for therapy, work on yourself. And during that time, we were in the process of buying a house. So we bought a house, and then he moved out. After moving out, he left us in the house. In the new house, we're doing renovations. We stayed behind in a rented house. And so he moved into the new house. But when he left, the agreement was he's going for therapy. And once he's okay, we'd move in together into the new house.
So the wife didn't want divorce?
It was separation. I was going
please.
through a lot, and him going through a lot.
Yeah.
I was receiving the when he's being trolled or whatever, when he comes home, he take out his frustrations on me. So the conversation was like, you go with yourself, go for therapy and all that. So he said he'd go for therapy. But now he would come home every other day. So he would rent an apartment somewhere, and let's say in 7 days would come home four times. So he'd come on Monday, come on Wednesday, come on Friday. Like he'd just come on every other day.
Press pause.
And when he comes on those days, he comes at very odd hours.
What's unfit? I give what's a what man, right? So sure, you sell a pair of sneakers. When that money comes in, so let's just say you bought it at 200 rand. I will make sell for 400 rand, you get an extra 200 rand back. That money, that 200, you put it back in the business because you need to grow your order. That's why I'm asking which money.
Maybe he's salary.
How many sneakers are they selling to be able to live off of that business already? You see,
that's another question. Or we could say that Utotsi Chelete cover for the whole year.
Or from people we don't know.
No,
yeah, right.
That's a missing link here in this story.
Okay.
Because I get because I get about for funding. If things are done legit, funding one of the things that you calculate or no, or project or after a year, I get some car.
Yeah.
Or after 6 months. After 6 months, really on this level. We'll corner patala this loan. So in that funding, one of the things working capital, clear how your salary and things like that. Okay? Yeah. So I'm thinking or again.
She's under the impression the business is actually doing well. You understand? We're generating revenue.
Yes.
Because I'll still go back to and say, how many sneakers were they?
So because I actually doubt to the drip
100%.
To be honest with you.
I agree with you. So it's these questions that we need to be asking, because once you start asking yourself these questions and they're not adding up and nothing adds up.
Yeah. Because
That's
I
what's
don't
been pulled over our eyes. Or they try to pull over because now, you know, because what I'll always tell people is that bring it back to your lived reality.
Yes.
If you're running a business, for example, it's, you know, if you're running a business, bring it back to your own personal experience. When you were selling t-shirts, kapa you were oranas paza kapa uzamakwenya kapa shisanyama. The beginning years, you're not even able to do anything with the money from the business. Unless if you're running a business where it's contract based, and when you get the contract, it's a 1 million rand contract. At least as charities again, and you busy servicing the business.
True.
But in any other product based business, service based business, there's no way you can live off of that business in a couple of months. Unless you're getting
it takes time for it to gain attraction. I mean, it takes time for it to gain attraction. That is why CBD experts say that most entrepreneurial ventures within the first 3 years, most of them die. They fail.
Yeah.
On average, they fail. In 3 years' times, they fail. As an entrepreneur, when you've gone over 3 years to 5 years,
you're in the clear.
You are in the clear.
Not necessarily complete clear, but what you're doing is working.
It's working. You know what I'm saying?
Hopefully in that time
and
period.
And that has been, I mean, those are what researchers, you know, business researchers and analysts.
Let's bring it back to your own personal experience. You understand now? My own personal experience. 3 years, and then from then on, once.
It takes time to build a business.
3 years onwards.
It takes time to build a business. And looking at Lekau's business at Trepi, I mean, it's exactly the same thing, just as something doesn't make sense. And when we're asking these questions, honestly speaking, we really want to understand, how did you do it? And yes, and now, yes, that's the truth.
Tell us how. Share your blueprint.
Yeah.
I don't want to do sneakers. Maybe I want to do t-shirts. I want to do jackets. I want to do caps. I want to do belts.
Because it doesn't make any sense. You can talk about Elon Musk. You can talk about Elon Musk. Unanale people before. One told it's a digital product. People ki company Elon Musk before I go this one here Tesla and how can you tell the journey it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
I've got my reservations with all these so-called billionaires, but I understand the basis of your question.
Because when I read, it makes sense. He covers.
Sure.
Unless if you got reservation, but they managed to fill up those.
No, they didn't.
By the story, the narrate, because then the people say, no, this is not real. We must put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The people that wrote his story, maybe.
Sure. But to make it more believable, to make it more believable, Not they say, you're selling chickens, you're selling nalishisanyama, and then you've got a sneaker business. Because a sneaker business is not something that you just do.
Yeah, I mean, just too many. Anyway, let's hear Umama Sekaya. What's in Mom?
You'd come at 11 o'clock at night, or come at 5 a.m. And when he comes at home, he just come at home and be, intimate with me, and then immediately leave. So that got worse to a point where I told him that you were going for therapy, but I'm getting hurt. You can't just come home and please yourself and then go.
Stress.
And then it got to a point
where he's a broken man.
He said, no, but you're my wife. I married you. What do you mean? Now you want to deprive me? Why do you want to deprive me? Such a like, but I'm getting hurt at this expense. I'm getting hurt, and then that was just escalated to a point where we now started talking about divorce. We said we'd rather get a divorce. Let's just divorce. This thing is not working out for me. It's not working out for our child. It's not a safe and healthy environment for us.
So it's a guy who said he wants divorce.
He wants his way out of this. He's never had anything. And not in a bad way. I get he's never had anything. This life that he's living on, I know it's new to him. Now there's all this attention. There's all these women.
But I get
it was a tactic.
I don't know. Anyway, every time when I come, that's why
he's broken. There's a deeper root cause to this behavior.
O shy affair. Hey.
It's toxic. Let's just separate. So as I did that, he would come at home at those odd hours to a point where I had to change the door locks because he's a husband. It's his home. He had spare keys, so I had to change door locks to stop him from coming home. And
Did they say they were building that house?
Continuing with
No,
them,
another house or
because
something
there was
like that.
So when
I
I
don't know.
change
Building
the door locks, he'll call or come and knock. If I don't open the door,
I think about the
he'll call
wife
and say,
has
"I
been
want
in
to see the
property,
child."
remember?
Like, okay, it's fine. You can see the child, but call me in a timely manner. You know, during hours, tell me in advance that you want to see the child. You can come here at 11 p.m. and say you want to see the child. And previously, when he was,
I hear you. Or she had other properties and so please give us more clarification so we can have better understanding of what's going on, what it is that is being said. Because I go back and say, how long is this? I mean, they got married in 2018.
One.
Now,
When they got married, the woman was already established.
yeah.
Take that into consideration.
Sure. Nah.
Property, yeah.
But Unali Morwalo, her burden is very heavy. She's got a man that she's
Now,
supporting.
yeah.
She's got
Family,
she's got
siblings.
family. Her siblings. She's got her own family. Now, she's the sole breadwinner. So food, rent, everything is she below. Yes, she can want to have 1 or 2 properties, but how much money is she making for those properties? What, an extra 10,000? We can give her that, no problem. But affordability still does not dictate or we can go out and build a house.
Didn't she say renovate? I mean, renovate.
Buy a house with all that. That's why, okay, Shuti. Now the question has to be, so let's ask this. What was the funding mechanism behind that house? What has done to What business was funding? What are the timelines to this? Because I got a 2020, it goes back to the whole thing already. This entire thing doesn't make sense because this was started in 2018.
I hear you.
So Shuti, there was a big cash injection.
Yeah.
And then Hansa Walena, never work out, they're doing this together.
Yeah.
All right.
Buy a house.
The cash injection again.
They just to,
coming, you would make sure
But he's got the business
comes
card.
at odd hours when the child was sleeping. But now that I've changed the locks, he now wants to come into the house to see the child while he's sleeping. So it went on, and as it went on, it got to a point where he says, "Okay, fine." So I was going through a lot. Emotionally, I was going through a lot. In my marriage, I was going through a lot to a point where my employment ceased. So after losing my job, I went through a lot of. I could say I was outbent, and he said, "Yeah, you're not working. So if you're not gonna open for me, I'll stop paying rent. I'll not send you money." And then he stopped paying me rent. If I would not succumb to what he says, he would not send money. So for years, I would go. From that time he left, he wouldn't send money, and I would tell him that, I've lost my job. Could you just assist with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
And is the money the same money that's coming from the businesses that we started?
Yes, it's the same money that started from the business that I started.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
They started everything together. She was there for the early days.
Yes.
He got with some other people, some other contacts, who put him on. Yeah, Popa business.
Yeah, Papa. Yes.
But now I Popa Siona, he's in control of everything. Possibly even the business registration and all of that, including the bank account, naturally. Kapa Drip Drip was registered as its own entity.
Yes.
Whatever business they were running together, Kanakweo was named between the two of them.
Yes.
But then Drip was registered differently.
So it is a total different
company on its own. And then Chile can out Drip. And now he's got full control, and now he's acting out because it's too much, too fast.
And I think it's too much. And I think him drinking and things like that, as the ex-wife is saying, I think in a little about is to kill the this is what in exchange for this. Yeah. Whatever he did in exchange, he was trying to numb that pain or whatever. Reality conscious really bad too. There are certain things, there are certain laws of conscience that you can't break. Like for example, let's say for example you're killing someone, it does something to you.
To any person who's done anything.
Even Lema Ponisa, though they legally they can, or Mutuna na Mutuna.
No, conscious 100%.
Yeah, you're bulaile mo to lutimad, even though legally because Mutuna na in Musebit and Mutuna Lena na Utunya Mutuna na. It does something to you. Hence they need counseling. What more where now and to whatever to get money, you know. So this behavior, this guy got in touch with certain people that catapulted him to that level. I think that's what makes sense, especially in this day and era where these things are exposed now, or how certain people become wealthy
overnight.
Yeah, but no, you want to get to that level, this is what you must give up.
So now that then drip became
what it is,
what's been put in front of everybody, and Uduti and then Gans, so she's always been, so since drip it was so she's been at the mercy of whatever he chooses to give them.
Yes.
Okay, if you don't do this, I'm not going to pay rent and whatever. So he's got full control of the business. I think the only thing is just that this lady is coming out on the public platform and she's speaking with her. I was there at the early days when these were all, and I was there porting in, and she never got back in return the investment that she made with her husband, unfortunately.
I mean, obviously the investment was for the future.
Hey, I mean, because she trusted 100%. So she was done in but then we go back to that again. It's business, right? I'm not saying anything of the
We are not saying that.
But now, these are lessons that have to be learned. You do business with your spouse. It's business. You need to have a contract in place. All right, love. But get it. We put it in paper.
I wouldn't advise unless. Hey, here's what I'll say: business with brothers, family members, wives, whatever the case might be, or husbands. Such type of business get it hard, especially for Ronabotaki.
Paperwork. You know what
I'm saying? Because I've often found, because Ronaldo is so much drama, rather, I can do business with you. The respect will be there in terms of most business they get it's people who don't know each other.
If we were going to do business, as much as we're boys, the number one thing is that there has to be a contract.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
A contract.
So now another problem. Problem with business when you do with family, because about it.
No, that's why. No, you're right, man. I get it. No, get it. We need to move away from that because.
But it's hard. It's hard when, for example, doing a business with your brother.
Let me ask you a question. Why wouldn't you do? When I do business with my brother, we have a contract in place. It'll go to it.
Well, maybe you might be an exception to the rule, but in most cases, because like with friends, that is why friends can talk business and everything like that, and then maybe they will start, but at some stage, things fall apart because personal things become involved in that whole thing.
Because so we have a personal relationship. That's a personal. So when we are personally,
but I didn't grow up with you.
Yeah, no, sure. But listen to the person.
You're not my homeboy.
Sure. But listen to the person.
I can ask we did not meet at school. You know what I'm saying?
No, sure, my man.
Okay.
I get it. The personal relationship has certain boundaries. There's certain expectations we had from each other. For example, honesty. What you say, I hope you will do, and what I do.
Yes.
When you're in need, you call me. When I'm in need, I call you. Right? Those are the parameters within which a personal relationship operates. Business is commercial. It's a completely different relationship all on its own. You do business with people you don't know. But what do you have that governs that relationship?
Contract.
Why do we have a contract in place? The contract is not the contract is not for Arikopana. Hey, Maskombi. Everything, times are happy, we've got this deal that's coming through, we need to sign a contract, and for the sake of the contract. No. We don't sign a contract for those times. We sign a contract for when there is uncertainty.
Yes.
Someone thinks that the agreement is interpreted in such a way. And then the contract is the founding document on this relationship. As a
regulates.
Well, I understand to get wrong. So if you're going to get into business with your spouse, you need a contract.
I agree with you. But the challenge is that
this is where we're
what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is where we're going to have to step above that. We're going to have to do
no. As with your spouse.
Yes.
Fine,
no problem, because it's business. Would you rather be? I would rather be in that situation
Yeah.
than the situation of Rakabana, and then I'm scared for my livelihood. Kausana. There
Yeah,
was no
what you
paper we
say.
can play.
Yeah, because Likaban and then the next thing.
And that's personal. Government right look is the personal.
And then I look on his water, like I'm celebrating, I'll become celebrating. I need the order, whatever.
You mustn't be. Security says don't come in, don't let him in.
You know that's a challenge because we are unable to demarcate that line.
So my
Or
suggestion,
personal,
my suggestion, if you're going to want to engage in business with family or friends, treat them exactly as you would do strangers. Have your paperwork in place. And it's not today, I don't trust you as my wife or whatever. No. It's got to do with the nature of what it is that we're doing and money.
Yeah.
Money, the love of money. No. Money is able to go into people's hearts in such a way. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's why you can fit. We, as much as it's a personal, and we need to understand that we're now about to venture into a different zone, a different space altogether. This is no longer our personal. You won't do me in. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's why the people, because her whole cries and her whole pleading is that she was in the beginning days, but she's lost out. If she was able to prove everything that she's done and then people will get she would be able to sue him and get.
No, their contract is already there, which is marriage. That's a thing. Trust, husband.
Did they marry in community?
I don't know, but I'm saying by virtue of that, you know, there are certain things that you overlook.
Marriage is a personal thing.
Yeah.
Marriage is a personal thing.
No, but what you don't get is that how you know, there are certain unwritten rules that you know.
But Rabat, at the end of the day, when emotions come in, you understand? The money came in and he realizes, you know what? Man, this I settled for this kappa. I've reached where I want to reach. I'm out of here. You understand?
Okay.
And now she's late.
The wife says, no, honey, let's do a contract. This is business. How? Why now business?
No, then it means you're not mature enough for what it is.
Why now business? I'm your husband. I mean, do you think? I mean, we are married. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? I mean,
love. It's not about how I look. You're my husband. I love you. You are my husband. I look up to you. I'm submissive to you. But what you want us to do is a financial commitment. It's a business relationship, so therefore we have to treat it accordingly.
No, why do you think why do you think I'm going to, you know, get under you? Because if I jeopardize this business, means I jeopardize our marriage and I jeopardize us.
The contract is there not to only protect me, to also protect you. What if I do you in? What if I do you in?
Why would you do that because of money?
I don't know. That's usual. That's usual. No, but I don't. And that's
but what I'm saying is that avoid business with
family, friends. If you don't have the maturity to,
it does not work. Yeah, it does not. Rather, do you see what I'm saying? Because emotions are there. You get what I mean?
Contracts regulate.
In principle, a contract addresses that, but emotional attachment
which is what you need in a situation of conflict.
Emotional attachment when it comes to you know.
And we're both in agreement when you sign this. So if there's any confusion, Lekau, you owe me, Trip owes me X amount of money, I put money, I'm a 50% shareholder, I want my due. If he doesn't abide by that, then you go to court.
Right. Anyway,
it was a big business by him saying, I mean, whatever money was laundered in this.
I provided all those resources and I've built from the ground. So now he says, okay, if you're not gonna succumb to what I'm saying, I'm not gonna send you money, I'm not gonna pay rent. So we would go months without having electricity, would go months without having gas, would go months without having hot water, to a point where I'll have to take my son to the clubhouse so that he can have a hot shower, you know. So that's how bad the situation was. I said to him, we're getting a divorce. We're definitely getting a divorce. And he was, every time when you do that, you say, I'm going to apply for divorce. And I applied for divorce. So when my lawyers reached out to him and said, your wife has started with the litigation for divorce, he called me and said, hi, I got a call from my lawyers. Can we solve this? Let's not go to court. Because if you go to court, I'm a public figure right now. This thing is going to blow. It's going to be all over. And I know you're a private person. And I'm like, okay, fine, let's solve this. Let's just resort it out of court. This is 1, 2, 3. I want a house because you've moved into the house that we bought and we're staying in a rented house. I want a house. I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We agreed on the things that we're gonna do for settlement. And then he said, when my lawyers reached out to him, it was in June. So he said, now it's June, the business is a bit low, so we'll have to wait for December, let's wait for festive. Then I'll buy you and I'll fulfill all those other agreements after the festive season, which is in Jan. So Jan comes, it was 2022, so Jan comes, and then I ask him, now it's Jan, let's buy
Skip
house.
on.
Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The child needs to go to school. And he said, but you are not working. Why do you want the child to go to school? And the child is still young. And then I'm like, but I need a nanny then. I am currently not okay. So I need a nanny. If I want to go somewhere, I can't constantly have a child with me. And then he paid school fees for like 3 months and then he stopped. He immediately stopped and then we spoke about it. Can you please continue paying school fees? He didn't pay school fees, So it got to a point from 2022 up until 2024, he wasn't paying school fees. Yeah.
Okay.
So, before that,
All right. So let's stop this here. Now, so this is a side of, because we wanted to hear the side the Masadwaha.
The origins of the business.
Yeah, the origin of the business. So we need to amalgamate this this part with where we do a review, where he explains his journey. Because we're gonna refer to this video on that. Well, wait,
so are there any, what you take away from this, based on what this lady has said? Like, what would you draw in conclusion? Like, what would be the takeaway?
The takeaway is that this lady obviously not about China, loved this young brother. One, they got married because they had a child. Nothing that she found out that she had a child, and then she wanted to get married. That's another thing. Another thing is that I think it could have been solved, man.
What do you mean?
I think that, but also it depends on whether taking her story on face value, I think. I mean, this thing could have worked, man. And you know what I'm saying? It could have worked. The only problem, because when she says he started coming late, and things that she's not used to. This is not the man that I'm married. That's where the challenge is. So the guy, as we say, that got involved with certain people and did certain things to get to the level where he is. That's my view on this thing. Because the perspective Yamsadi, I mean, the story of Yamsadi edifies certain perspective with respect to that. Because it grew too quickly. It doesn't make any sense. In the context of business, no business grows this quickly.
So it's a scam. Or it's a money laundering scheme.
Yeah. There's just something not make sure here.
My takeaways, I've only got 2, actually 3.
Okay.
Number 1, if you're gonna date anybody on potential, there has to be something that shows already they are on their way.
Okay.
And you coming in as a woman who's got means, you're merely assisting him on his journey. You understand that? You already, the kind of, to be able to judge a character and whatever, that's something completely different.
Yeah.
But that's the first thing. The potential, she saw potential, and there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe they should have continued dating. Yes, the child and okay. So
when she found out that
pregnant. Okay. But just with
that's the only.
I don't well to be stuck with someone who has potential.
That is why, and then now it goes back to this thing, having a child out of wedlock, couple, it's
Look,
a
must
problem.
be
Yeah.
So what I would say to that is, if you're a woman of means, and you find yourself in a situation with a man who's got potential, or he seems to talk a good talk about what he wants to do, you need to ask him to show you what he's done. Never mind even asking to show. A man of means, and who's on his way something or somewhere, you will see it with his actions, with what he's got currently going on in his life. That's the first thing we've got to take away now. Yabu babe. Business between family, friends, and all of that. I think this is a lesson. It's another case in point. As much as it may be, it's the same as getting married in community or getting a prenup.
Don't ever get married in community. So
it's a sensitive topic.
And I don't know why people still do that even today. Anyway, continue.
Because it's a sensitive topic again. It's the same as having a contract when you're doing business. A marriage is a coming together of two individuals, two individual estates getting together.
From a legal perspective.
Yeah, from a legal perspective.
But there are things, the thing I would say with respect to marriage is that there are things that happen deeper than that document.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
But marriage legally,
Okay, yes.
In the legal aspect, that's what it is.
Okay.
And that's how the state arbitrates it.
Looks at it.
Yes. Because she's not crying for him back. She's crying for what she put into this marriage and supporting her husband. Had she had the paperwork in place handily, and they had a proper business discussion about this is what we want to do, this is where we're headed, get your paperwork in order.
And
the paperwork is not a lot. It's a 2-pager. What's your percentage? How you're supporting? What will be proof of that? And if we come into disagreement, what is our way forward with?
And
you want adjudication? Are we going to court? Are we going to get an arbitration? You state those things in the contract, so that Kausan, when something like this happens, whether it's your brother, whether it's your friend, whether it's run off with the success, you're able at least to take this to court and have it arbitrate over this matter, because that's what the courts are there for. You understand? I understand the emotion and the love aspect and the trust, but I mean, the only person who I could ever do business with on a word basis is my mother. But anybody else, I mean, it's taking a chance, and this is just another case in point. To do business, you need to always make sure your paperwork, whether it's your friend, whether it's your wife, whether it's anybody you do business, you got to treat them as such, the same way you would treat a stranger.
Yeah. Agreed.
Thirdly, drip and Leona Bat, in my opinion, are the same. They are front companies for a money laundering scheme.
Yeah.
There's a big financial institution behind them. None of them is publicly disclosed.
It does not make sense. And as a matter of fact, we must do a video on Batu because there is a nice
We'll tackle that law.
Because
how much?
Yes, no, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we don't want details. We just want, when they give a financial report, you don't want to an overview,
a synopsis.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Because how can you 4,600? What are you saying? Then the shortfall here, where does it come from?
And how?
Because I don't remember I involve Amsadua High. There is no way he mentions the wife or no.
And how much was invested? How much are the current running? How we can only sit and
because the impression that you're giving us is that you must I mean, where does the money come? The day to day, you know what I'm saying?
So hopefully in that interview, the 702 show that we'll do, he discloses it's and how he built it.
No, I don't think he will.
But those are my 3 points. The third being this is a money laundering scam, and these companies were the front. There are some more powerful people behind the scenes, who are probably taken the biggest share of the money that was dispersed.
And all of a sudden now, the politicians are involved in this thing.
We'll get into that once another chain breaks it, but it's a very good point, because if you ask yourself along this game,
Treasury can account on a private. How many business? I'm
going to say something.
Yeah.
I would probably think with the scale of this scheme could, maybe even be between Batu and Drip, between these two companies, it could be R1 billion. Could be R1 billion.
Possible.
That's a lot of money. That's a can of worms. If they're, but yeah,
my treasury is being appealing for
raising.
treasury or a babila out there. But for what?
No, we'll get into that when we tackle AI.
Yeah. All right.
When we hear it from the horse's mouth, and then we'll dissect that properly.
No, I think the thing that we must say is that let us not push this narrative via black success. Come on.
Black excellence.
Excellence, come on. No, man. We must stop that. We must stop that. I mean, if business case might be can make sure to go to bank whatever, keep like that's good. I mean, we do have people, and then they're in the shadows, those people. But when we can buy the business or not black people, they are not publicly known, most of them, because they don't want to be known. You have to search of man. I didn't know this guy. I was surprised to find, hey man, this guy is a billionaire. I can't remember even his name.
I must go. We'll dig into it properly.
Because and then I'll check out track record. Years back.
This boy is 36 years old.
No man.
If we're talking 36 years old, he's been in this now for 5 years, 6 years. So at 30, he was able to amass that amount of money. It's not real. It's not true. So, but what's again? That other
aspect.
We'll be able to cover it fully because he'll present.
Yeah.
And then we'll dissect.
Okay. As bonge ra Lebohang, God bless.